Hello, today we're looking at the baseline breakdown report, just trying to get a better understanding. Specifically, we're looking at a meter that has been tuned and also has a bill match on top of it. If we're looking at this graph here, we can see that we've got two lines up top. The blue line's the baseline and the black line's the reference year. The goal of this report can be summarized as explaining the difference between this blue line and this black line. So the difference between the baseline and the reference year. And the reference year is the tuning year, or the base year as it's also called. It's the year of utility data that was used to develop the regression equation in metrics. And so what this graph shows is we can see that there is a difference, and we can see what causes the difference. So we can determine if it's an increase or decrease in the number of cooling degree days that's affecting our savings numbers. So if I'm looking at this July 1994 bill, we can see we've got a negative offset for cooling degree days, a negative offset for number of days, and a small offset based on the deviation from the bill match. So if I scroll down, I can see the actual numbers behind this report. We're looking at the July bill here. Let me just color it so we see what we're looking at. The first deviation that we've got here is the adjustments for deviation from bill match and fit line. And actually in this case, since this meter is bill matched on top of a tune, if we look in metrics, and if we look at the bill match modification, we've got our July 13th, our July 93 bill, which is our reference year bill, and our July 94 bill, and the difference between these two is what that adjustment is. So if I go into Met over here and I'm looking at the different screens, let's add these in here. It will be 33,257 and 28,997 minus. So we'll be subtracting 4,260, which is what this number is here. The next number is the difference in number of days between these two bills multiplied by the regression amount for number of days. This first bill in the base here has July 13th, 1993. Let's just enter that here, July 13th, 1993. And it starts June 14th. So if we subtract these two bills, we'll get 29 days. And for our reference year, we've got, it goes from June 17th, 1994 to July 14th, 1994. So this minus this is 27. So we've got 2 days less in our baseline year. So what do we do with this number? Well, if we go look at the regression equation, we can see this 17,075.9, 17,075.9 times this. And this number should actually be a negative number, since we have a negative 2 day difference between our reference year and our baseline. So our offset is a negative 34,000, which is what we've got here. The last thing we're doing is really a very similar thing. We're taking the difference in the number of cooling degree days. If I look at so our reference year has 772 degrees. Let's move this over here. This is number of days, number of cooling degree days. And so we've got 772. If we scroll down, we've got 690 cooling degree days. And again, we're going to take the difference between the baseline year. So we've got 82 less cooling degree days. And we're going to multiply it by our multiplier once again, which is 481.66. And that gives us our offset right here. If we sum up these offsets and add them to our reference year, we get our baseline bill.